Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? It's Friday. Oh man, I sound horrible. Ugh. Oh, I sound horrible. How's everyone doing? Oh, missed one already. Derek, Cirillo, gifted 5 community memberships. Cheers. Or am I in a... Hello, I am under the water. Please send help. No, I have a cold. I've had one. You know how like you wake up and your throat is itchy and you're like your sinuses are plugged and you just feel congested? That was me yesterday, and now I've got the runny nose and it's just it's not fun. I'm all hopped up on meds right now, so I'm feeling a little floaty, but at least you know I can sort of talk. So it's all in my head. I know it's in my head. The virus is in my head. The files are in the computer. So today's stream is, I don't know if we're gonna go the full 3 hours that we normally do. We're gonna go as long as I can go, basically, put it that way. It's a cold. I don't have allergies. I'm not allergic to anything, luckily. So yeah, it's full on just me. It's just sick. The little guy brought something home from school last week. The wife got it. Now I have it. So it is what it is. So yeah, so today a little bit of an easy day. We're just gonna do some fapping about with the Mark IV, just to see, because I've been printing with this. I've been doing as many prints as I can, because this has to get boxed up and sent back. So I've been doing prints and lots of prints to try and like, I want to do a video on it, and I'm done with it today. Today's the last day I get to print with it. So I think we're gonna faff about with some speed benchies, and I'm gonna print one more thing tonight, and then that'll probably be it with this, and then it's got to go back to the person who lent it to me. So so first things first, it's been a while since I've played with Marlin. You know, this is kind of not Marlin, but it is Marlin. We need to figure out how fast we can push this thing, because as it is right now, I don't know how fast we can go with this, because I don't know what the stock firmware has for limits. So we need to plug this baby into a computer via USB-C and ask it. So what is it, Prontoface? I gotta download Prontoface. 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 There we go. Is Voron tap electro sensing? No, it's physical sensing. Download. It's called Print Run. Okay, whatever. Windows. There we go. So while I'm doing this, don't forget we give away a spool of Polymaker filament every stream. So make sure you enter for your chance in the video description. So enter down there. Hopefully you get to win some. We give away a spool every stream. Oh, wrong button. Extract all. Today's stream's gonna seem a little odd. I'm feeling really wonky today. So what are we doing today? Well, run anyways. We're gonna see how fast the stock Mark IV out of the box can actually print. Connect. Printer is now online. Okay, so if I type G28, this should. Okay, so we're connected to it. Okay, so what is the Marlin G-code command? Marlin G-code printer settings. M503? Is it M503? M503? Okay, I think this is it. Okay, so acceleration units: print Excel, retract Excel, travel Excel. So travel Excel is 1200. Okay, maximum acceleration. XY is 1250, Z 200. Now, 1250. It's got to be higher than that. I'm assuming, will the slicer override this? Because I don't think it's like Clipper. I think the slicer will override it, right? Because right now it's showing maximum acceleration is 1250 for X and Y. Yes. Okay, somebody's saying yes. Are the Marlin units different? I don't think so. I think it is in MM3. Start G code. Printer settings. Custom G code. Here's the starting G code. Jeez, that's a lot. The slicer should, okay. So we should be okay. So I'll disconnect Prontoface here. And we'll just slice something. So I'm thinking we start a little conservative. They've already shown a video of a benchy printing at 200 millimeters a second, 8K XL. So I figure we use that as our starting point. So let's load up a benchy. 3D benchy. Here we go. We're gonna start with the 0.25. So we're gonna modify this, obviously. So print settings. So speed benchy is what? 0.25 layer height. I don't know. We'll just do 4 top, 3 bottom. 2 perimeter. Infill is what? 10 or 15%, and it's every other. How do you set for every other? 10K everywhere. Combine and infill every 2 layers. 15%. 3 top, 3 bottom. Okay. 3 top, 3 bottom. 0.25 layer height. 15% infill. Oh, 10%. Okay. Grid. Combine infill every 2 layers. Skirt and brim, we don't need that. Support material, don't need that. Speed, okay. Okay. Dynamic speed change, no dynamic speed change. Travels 300. Z travels fine, whatever, we'll leave that. First layer speed, we'll do 50 for the first layer. And 8K XL for everything. Except for the first layer. We'll go slow on the first layer. First layer, we'll crank that down to 2,000. Travels 8,000. Defaults 8,000. Speed, max print speed 300, just in case. Okay. Don't break it yet. I hope I don't break it. This isn't my machine. Min layer time. Do we have min layer time? Cooling. Minimum print speed 15 millimeters a second. Okay. Turn off min layer time. Okay. So slice. So this is saying 30 minutes. So it's saying 30 minutes here. Okay. Speed. So it looks like, yeah, we're capping out at 162. What's our flow rate at? 16 millimeters cubed. And I think that might be our flow rate. Where's flow? Max volumetric. Oh, they don't have a volumetric set there. Oh, purge max. Oh, yeah, there's your max volumetric. So let's set that for 20. Let's see if we'll outrun the hot end. 29 minutes. So yeah, we're outrunning the hot end here. But we'll see how it goes because it's kind of small. I'm going to bump the temps up to 220. Okay, slice now. So this is a 29-minute benchy. Okay. Does Prusa slice? Yeah, it does have max flow set to 15 with this, and I bumped it up to 20. Okay, I need some filament in here. What do I have for filament? I want to use PLA first. That's ABS. Do I have some nice orange? That's PLA. No, that's... Oh, here we go. Some Replitech PLA. Fan at 100. Oh yeah, fan's at 100. This is PLA. PLA at 220. That's normally what I print PLA at. With modern higher quality PLAs, a lot of people, especially since printers have gotten fast, print PLA too cold, and that's a big cause of a lot of jams. Like, no joke, a lot of people print PLA too slow, and it's causing issues. Or they print it too cold when they print it fast. So, that actually is a thing. Ah, dang it. Okay, I'm not gonna... Didn't save my Prusa link login info, so I'll just SD card this. Do it the easy way. Okay, export G code. We're gonna export you to the USB drive. Save. Done. Yep. Print. Okay. Maxes cells and printer settings. Machine limits. Do I have it? Oh, I do have max cells there. Shoot. Okay, 1 second here. Stop. Sure you want to stop printing? Yes. Okay, there we go. Try this again. 19 minutes. Now we're down to 19 minutes. Okay, that makes a little bit faster of a benchy. 19 minutes. So this will be a 19-minute benchy. Hopefully. Warning, detect print stability issues. Low bed adhesion. Yeah, it is what it is. Cool. Loading. 19-minute benchy. See how it goes. Audience poll. Just send it. That's what we're doing. So again, this doesn't have input shaper yet. I did ask Joe to see if he would send it to me, and he hasn't responded. So I don't have input shaper. And regardless of how these prints turn out, it does print when you actually use reasonable settings. It prints quite good. It's a model from Chelsea that I printed last night. Bed leveling, you want to know how the first layers are? There you go. There's your first layer. There's the first layer for you. Everything has perfect first layers. Yeah, I might bump the temps up. We'll see. Ugh. How thick? 0.2 mil. Oh my god. Yeah. This is gonna be fun this cold. You can print plastic sheets. Well, what you do is you get some wood fill and you just print paper. Well, it do be doing it. Can I zoom in? I can. And it's kind of hard to see because it's jostling all over the place, but it doesn't seem to be under extruding too much. Oh, yep, we had a layer shift. Yep, we already had a layer shift. Okay, so that's a little too fast for it. Stop. There we go. Yep, we had a layer shift. Okay. So, 8K Excel without input shaper. It's a little rough. Okay, let's try a little bit more conservative. I'm gonna leave the speeds alone because usually it's not the speeds that get you, it's the Excels. So we're gonna drop it down to 5,000. Because usually it's the Excels that get you. So this is 22 minutes. Yeah, we don't have input shaper, so that's gonna hold us back. Oh, wrong one. Save. SD card. Nope. SD card. Okay, let's try this again. I really like that it it pulls up the last file, like the newest file on the SD card, so you just plug it in, wait for it to load, hit print. Well, the belt tension, it could be a little tighter, but it's okay. The shift occurred in the y-axis. It was the bed that lost a step. Need more current. There is no silent mode. There's only one mode on this, which makes sense that they probably disabled silent mode to get more torque out of the motors. How's the tension? It's all factory. Again, this isn't my machine, so I don't want to mess with stuff, really. But I'm pretty sure there is no stealth chop mode, or slow mode. Like, I don't see anything. What are you voting for? If we can get a good speed benchy out of this. So we tried 8K Excel, so that was a little too much. So now we dropped it down to 5K. ETA is 22 minutes. Yeah, ETA is 22 minutes. Sound a little... Well, Marcus, you missed the beginning of the stream where I said I'm sick. Yeah, I got a bit of a cold. For shell thickness, yeah, I know, I gotta disable that. Let me see if I can find that setting. So shell thick. Do we have another shift? I think we have another shift. Oh, we're okay. We are going to get some curling. I don't think the cooling is going to be too happy at this. You want to hear the printer noise? Filters, noise suppression, and no music. It's not bad. It's a fast printer. Motors make noise. You can't avoid it. But that ain't too bad. How can you become a member? It is below chat, I believe, or it's below the window, like the screen. First impression, Mark 4 Bamboo Lab Carbon. Depends on what you need the machine to do. Because they're completely different machines and ethos and ecosystem. So when the Visa bot, if a kit ever shows up for one. Yeah, we're doing 0.25 layer height, 2 wall, 3 top, 3 bottom, 10% infill every other layer. So it is speed benchy rules. Do you think it's worth to upgrade the Mark 3S Plus for both? I think the option that gives you the new controller and the new tool head is probably your best bet, honestly. That's probably going to be the best bang for the buck. Not going the full all-in upgrade probably is not worth it. I wouldn't be printing any proprietary prototypes on the Bamboo. Exactly. Like, if you're just printing stuff at home and it's just you and you don't care about noise, Bamboo is a fine machine. But if you need your machine for anything work related, school or business related, I don't think it's a good machine for that. The flow rate, we are running at 220 degrees Celsius for PLA, and we're flowing at, it's saying 21 millimeter cubed a second. So we're probably under extruding a bit. Except you still have to use their app for first time setup. Really? That sucks. Well, here's the thing. No. With the Bamboo, you can actually always run it standalone mode. At least the X1, even the P1P. But you have to use, you can only use SD cards, and you can never update the firmware. So, yeah. And LAN only mode, you still can't up. You got to connect them to the network, to the internet, to update the firmware on both these machines. And to use the webcams, you also have to connect to the internet. You can't use the webcam on them in LAN only mode, which is stupid. I don't know why you can't. First impressions? I don't know. I don't have the machine, so I can't give you my impression on it. Cheaty has, I have one Cheaty machine. It's a CF Carbon, CF Pro, whatever one they have. They sent it to me. I did an unboxing of it on the channel. It took me a while to find the power button. It's a solid machine, but at the time, I don't think it was worth what it was worth. They used to be pricey, but they're a proven name in the industry. Like, they're not, like, they've been around longer than Bamboo for sure. They've been around for a while. So their machines are probably pretty good. You got called a Prusa shill saying I wouldn't buy a Bamboo because of the noise. I don't even own a Prusa. Paul, I don't know what it is. Like, oh, do we have a layer shift, or is that just... I don't know. I think it's just curling. Yeah, it's just curling. People keep using the term shill. They don't know the definition of a shill, for one. Like, I'm seeing people got mad over some people getting into the XL beta program because they didn't have they had a small YouTube channel. Like, how did this guy with only like 3,000 viewers get an XL unit? I don't know, because they don't just look at channel. I don't have an XL unit. I know a bunch of content creators who don't have XL beta units. The beta units went to people that I'm pretty sure interact with the actual Prusa community in some way and are actually like known to Prusa, not just, you know, large channel YouTubers. Am I planning converting my XL to a Mark IV or stick with the XL? Why not both? When an XL or when a Mark IV kit comes out, I'll be buying one. And then for the XL, I will be buying one too. So make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to help support the channel, the content I create, the things I do, links in the description. Consider becoming a channel member or gifting memberships to others, or just a super chat. It goes a long way, because the XL ain't cheap, and the tax man is going to want blood money from me when that thing shows up. All communities are toxic. To an extent. The disdain. It's... One second here. One second here. I'll sum it up right here. This is the whole people being mad at Prusa. When I see people being mad at Prusa, this is what I see. There's that. Because here's the thing. I don't see like people from Prusa going into Bamboo videos and trashing them in the comments. But I like the amount of times, I swear this week, I have hit the hide user from channel button more in the past week than I have in the past year. Like the amount of people that are leaving just straight up toxic comments on either some of the pictures I posted in the community page or the unboxing live stream. Like, if the only thing you're gonna do is just in all caps scream it's not worth that much money, Prusa's blah blah blah, and you're just gonna shit talk for no reason without actually saying anything, you're gonna get hidden from the channel. And I've used that button more in the past week than I have in the past year. So Yeah. Josh Wilson, 550. Prusa XL fund. Thank you. I'll throw it in the pile because the pile's not big enough. Jake Inland, $5. Cheers. Frankly, get me to buy either, mostly because I'm broke. Don't plan to take my money. Apollo, that's okay, man. I'm looking forward to building that. Well, I haven't seen them. And here's the thing, Bamboo's all fine being not open source. Like, you can't force a company to open source their design if it's their own design. Core XY is not an open source thing. Like, sure, their slicer is Prusa slicer with a skin on it and a few minor changes. So that was lifted by, but they acknowledged that and they open source that component. The dog in the walk, $5. Cheers for the tax man. Found your channel researching for the upcoming Voron build of content. Cheers. Cheers, TJ. But yeah, I don't know if it's like a sunk cost fallacy with them that like they've latched onto it, but and they have to defend it. Like, here's the thing, you don't work for them. I don't work for them. I don't work for any company, regardless of who you call me a shill. The only money that has exchanged hands between me and Prusa is the $200 I sent them for an XL pre-order. That's it. The Mark III I have, that's from Printed Solid. And I'm pretty sure they sent me that before the buyout happened. So, even then. But yeah, I will never get people that white knight for companies that they don't work for. Felix, $49.99. Cheers. Hit the like button. Long time no see. Love the Mark IV stream. Thank you. But yeah, I just don't get that. Like, you don't work for the company. Like, here's the thing. Yes, I promote Voron a lot. Okay? I enjoy Voron. I think you should build a Voron. I stand by Voron. I'm on the Voron team. I actually have a vested interest in Voron because I'm part of the team. I don't get paid by it. Nobody on the Voron team makes money off Voron. Some people have stores. I have a YouTube channel, but that's all our own separate things. But hey, I actually have a reason to kind of like Voron. Some people, you just gave a company money. Donald Sears, 49 cheers. Nicholas, 50 Swedish kroner. XL pile. Into the pile. And Cross 2010. Imagine everyone gave Nero $5 for the Mark IV fund. Well, that's why I have to get an XL. I said I couldn't get, back when they announced it, I'm like, it's outside my budget, and then a bunch of people super chatted. So I'm like, shit, okay, so I put it in a pre-order. I did it live on the stream too. Mark IV looks good. Basically, here's my TLDR. Do you have a Mark III? Do you like the Mark III? You'll like the Mark IV. That's basically it. It's, if you like the previous printer, you'll like this one because it's better in every way. In the future won't become proprietary and crappy. They won't. There's enough open source communities out there. I don't think you have to worry about that. One thing I'm not liking, and this is, you know, oh, he doesn't call out Prusa. Okay, I'm going to call out Prusa now. Same thing as the X1, where there were features that they said would come out, but they came out at later dates. So like with the AMS system, spool rollover, LAN only mode on the P1P and the X1. There is a bunch of time lapses on the P1P. There are a bunch of features on these machines that came out after the machine was announced. This is out. This doesn't have input shaper yet. The touchscreen, not that I care, but apparently some people do. The touchscreen is not a touchscreen yet. Like, you guys had this running for a year in the print farm. Why are we waiting on input shaper? You've demonstrated it works. Why doesn't the machine have it? Like, I'm really hoping we don't go the way of like video games where like the game isn't good until 3 patches after release. So anything worth exporting to Voron? I want the next extruder. I want the next extruder as a standalone extruder. Jake, going to Smurf? If I can find a sponsor and I can work out the times, because it's blackout period for my wife's work, so it's almost impossible for her to get time off work. Garage, $20 for the XL fund. Thank you. I'm curious, would Voron Legacy much faster than... Yeah, Voron Legacy would be faster. It's Core XY. You can push the accels higher on Core XY system. Mr. Minden, $29.99 for the Prusa Fund. Cheers. We really need a new engine and hot end. Mark IV Cyberpunk. I wouldn't say that. More like Elden Ring, where it was good out of the gate, but then they just made it better. Like, this machine's, you know... We're going to have some issues with the fact we're under extruding like mad. So what I'm going to do is, for the next print, I'm going to keep the speeds and feeds the same, but I'm going to autopilot this to 15 millimeter cubed, so we don't over extrude. Speed. But yeah, so this is actually printing, like, it's printing, but we're having, it's the same issue we had when we printed on like the SV06 at super high speeds, where it's just we're outrunning the hot end. Prusa clone kit, which one? The only Prusa clone I have is a mini, and that hasn't been used in a while. Also flip 180. Yeah, but it's a torture test. Like, actually the bow's actually not bad for what it is. Maker Baraki 50, cheers. Jeez. I'm a Bamboo owner. Bamboo fanboys are the worst. I love full 3D printers, more for the Prusa one. Cheers. Yeah, Bamboo's fine. Just avoid the Facebook group like the plague. The turquoise and pink Prusa clone. Yeah, I haven't used that in a while. Threaded rod Prusa Mendel in modern electronics. So, bruh. I've had that idea for a while, and this is something I've been wanting to do on the channel for a while. The problem is getting it. If anyone knows or has where I can acquire a Ultimaker, one, like the original Ultimaker, the wooden Ultimaker kit, unassembled. I want to build an original wooden Ultimaker, like originally, and see how it fares with like modern slicers, and you know, and then I want to upgrade that to see how little you have to do to get a printer from like a decade ago to modern standards. The problem is trying to find one of those kits unopened that's not $1,000, because I'm not spending $1,000 on that. Hello from Odessa. Hello there. Hope the weather is great. Ugh. Do you have an opinion on Elegoo FDM? They're probably fine. I've never used one. The only ones I've used are the Anycubics. What's my favorite slicer? I don't know. I'm kind of trending back towards Prusa slicer right now. Although I've got to get Orca slicer a try. Apparently that's pretty good. How do you get a benchy to print it faster? You give it bigger numbers. Yeah, there's definitely under extrusion issues here. With his old, yeah, I seen his MakerBot. Any thoughts on Voron parts on an SLS machine with PA12? I think the nylon would be great. You could do it. Nothing to stop you from doing it. It'd be really pricey, and just so you know, the parts work just fine in printed ABS. So yeah, quality's not so good. Oh, I know. We're outrunning the hot end right now. We're gonna slice this again. The next run is gonna be a little bit slower. But I'm capping it at 15 millimeter cubed a second, so that way hopefully we don't outrun the hot end this time. Well, we're still hitting 16. And I need to turn Z-Hop off. Although I will say the Z-Hop's pretty quick on this, I think. Yeah, the Z-Hop on this is pretty quick. Put chat on? We have chat on. Chat's right there. Hi, chat. Put a CHT. Oh. I can't. I don't have the adapter. When I build mine, I'll be putting a diamond back nozzle in it, I think. Any new features of the Mark IV you think become ubiquitous on printers? The load cell is really nice. The way they got the load cell with the nozzle probing is really nice. I've had perfect first layers on every print so far. Like honestly, I think the biggest improvement on this machine compared to the Mark III is the tool head and the electronics. Tool head and electronics are like the biggest upgrades on this machine. You probably will see people mod this thing with the giant 5015 at some point. I guarantee it. People will. There's room. It's for people were expecting this to be a Core XY that prints at like bamboo speeds in under $1,000. Like it was never going to be that. If you thought it would be that, you didn't know how to read a market. This is a Mark IV. It's an upgraded Mark III. It's evolutionary, not revolutionary. I have an adapter on order. If you don't get your kit in, I'll go along. Okay. All right, well, I'll be waiting on the kit. I've got it tagged so that I'm going to order it. Like I got an email warning set up for it. So put Prusa's new tool out on the SVO6. Maybe. I don't think so. I don't know if the files are available for this yet. How much better is this than a Clipperized Mark III? Here's the thing. Clipper gives you input shaper and speed. It doesn't fix mechanical issues on the printer or mechanical downsides on the printer. So you're still going to be probing with an inductive probe, and you're going to still have to live adjust sed. You got 1.8 degree steppers versus 0.9. You still got the same 2130s. The 32-bit isn't that big of a deal. You're losing out on a better tool head, better extruder. So you'll be able to boogie as fast, hopefully, once this thing gets input shaper, but the actual mechanics of the printer are better. It's a sturdier machine. S. Marshall, $20 for the XL fund. Cheers. Actually, speaking of sturdy, don't knock the box over. Oh yeah, she's shaking. So we are looking at, that's a decent amount of flippy floppy. So this is in thou. So it looks like it's shaking back and forth anywhere from 0.1 to 0.2 mil. This 4 thou is 0.1 millimeter, and this is in thou. So I believe it is moving less than a Mark III. So the frame is a little stiffer than the Mark III. I did this on the Mark III and it was dancing more, I believe. Let's see, Mk4, $2. Cheers. Any advice when to use that hop? I always use that hop on every print, and it's done. Found out the Mark IV and Mark V Core XY kit. I don't think that'll be a thing, because the Mark V would still be an i3. Okay. So here is our 22-minute benchy on a Prusa Mark III, and this is, oh yeah, it's under extruded. So it actually, so from this side it doesn't look too bad, but you can see the under extrusion. It's under extruded. So this is 1, Although that first layer is mint. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna do some cheating. So we want to try and stay under. What do you think? 25 minutes? I think 25 minutes is a good. If we can do, see how good of a benchy we can do in 25 minutes. 25 minutes right now. So 25 minutes. Okay, export cheat code. No, I gotta use grid infill. I'm trying to. We could do. What is it? Where is variable layer height? Layer height. Where's that at? Oh, here we go. Yeah, do that. So we'll do adaptive layer height. $37 minutes. Yeah, that's slower. That we don't want to do that then. Turn that off. We don't want to do that. Undo, undo, undo. Yeah, we don't want to do adaptive. Plus, you can't do a speed bench with adaptive layer. Where'd it go? And let's rotate it around so the bow is getting the most cooling. All right, so we're at 25 minutes estimate. Export. Guess we drive that. Save. Okay. So we're doing the trick where we slow down for the external perimeter, because when you slow down for the external, that's the part that's visible. So you basically YOLO it for things like infill, which on a cosmetic print don't really matter too much. But I will say that the bridge up front came out pretty good. Like, it's under extruded, but like there isn't really like. There's no major defects in it other than it being under extruded in a bunch of spots. That ain't bad. So this print was everything at 200 millimeters a second, 5K XL. We're doing the same thing now, only we're running 100 millimeters a second and 2500K XL for the external perimeter. So all we've done is just slowed it down for the external perimeter. We've also added a 15 millimeter cube a second max volumetric flow to hopefully wrangle in that under extrusion issue we were having before. So this is the current speeds and feeds. So. Under extrusion, yeah, we're at 220 on the problem is if I heat it up too much, it won't look as clean. Mark IV, pressure advance or linear? It's based on Marlin, so it's linear advance, so it's not as good as pressure advance. What was the first? I think Hypercube came out before Voron. Voron's been around since 2016. So. And I'm realizing right now, I'm gonna be leaving for Denver in like 2 weeks. Not even 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks yesterday for Rocky Mountain Rep Fest. That's gonna be fun. Got my car rental booked. Got everything booked now. Have I built a FormBot kit? I have not. I've unboxed a kit, but I've never built one. Does it only probe? Yes. So part of the upgrade on the Mk4 firmware, it only probes where it's printing. So that is actually a really nice feature. You can do that in Clipper too, I believe. I think there's a way to do it in Clipper, but oh yeah, first layers on this machine are like absolutely immaculate, and I haven't done a damn thing. I haven't changed any settings on this on the machine. Like this is all out of the box. Should you go for a Trident? If you okay, Panto, my current go-to is if you don't know which Voron to build a Trident. PF Dennis gifted 5 community memberships. Cheers. Yes, you can put Clipper on here. The STM32F427, I think it is supported by Clipper. The problem is if you break the little tab that allows you to flash custom firmware on here, you void your electronics warranty. That's just something with Prusa. So. Streaming when you're 6 sucks. This is not running Clipper. This is completely stock machine out of the box. I haven't done a thing. Say anywhere. Oh yeah, this tool head's lighter. Look at it. It's got a pancake stepper, smaller fans. Like this is a much smaller tool head than the Mark III. I don't know how much it weighs. I would have to take it apart to weigh it, but it is much lighter. Oldham couplers. I think one of the kits I've built has them. I prefer though stepper motors with the lead screw integrated than having a coupler. Yeah, just leave. Yeah, honestly, if you're buying a Prusa, like most people leave the stock firmware on it. Like it's even like the SV06, I went back and put Marlin on it. It works just fine for those kind of machines. Because here's the thing, putting Clipper on your machine will allow it to run past its limits, which is pointless for a lot of machines. So yeah, there are nice features of Clipper, input shaper, but Marlin's starting to get input shaper now. This will have input shaper at some point, hopefully soon. So if your machine can run at its absolute limit, like we've already shown with the stock firmware, we can outrun the hot end. So there's no point going any faster. We got to go slower. We're already outrunning the hot end. How come you recommend the Trident over the other? Ricky Marquez, $4.99. It's a little bit simpler of a build. It's easier to wrap your head around it if you don't know much about Vorons, or in the flying gantry is a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more of a finicky setup. Here's the thing, the gantry on both that and a Trident are the same. The V2 gantry and the Trident gantry are the same. The only difference is the bed moves on the Trident, the gantry moves on a V2, and it's more money and it's more complicated of a build. Most people probably will get more use out of a Trident because it's a little bit cheaper, it's a little bit easier. So, need a high flow upgrade. Yeah, that's coming. They've said it's coming. They're waiting on the Revo high flow stuff because it's the same technology, I bet. Or you just get the adapter and put a CHT in it. Okay, this one is coming out a lot better. Having to recompile makes a change. Yeah, that part, that's like the only thing that I like. Here's the thing, Marlin is great because it just runs on one board. You don't need a Raspberry Pi. You just, it's great for off-the-shelf machines. But like, if I need to change something in the firmware, I don't want to recompile. That's the downside. Versus Clipper, you just, or even RepRap, you just go in and just change a line and hit save restart. You're good to go. Get auto bed leveling. Dan, it's always had ABL. Although most of the time we're running, you know, cast aluminum plate beds. You don't really need, like, I don't run bed mesh on like 2 of these 3 machines here. I do the 4-corner gantry trim and go. But you can run bed mesh easily on any of these. So. Do you have any Elegoo machines? I do not. They're bed slingers, in my opinion. They're just, they're in the same category as Ender 3 derivatives, and I really have no interest in looking at them. Their resin machines I heard are pretty good though. I just haven't used them before. So when IS comes out, yeah, this will be, well, okay. So Prusa's version of Marlin is very heavily forked at this point. But yes, it will have input shaper, but it'll be running Prusa's fork of Marlin. Does the orientation, yes, because we have the bow facing into the fan for the best cooling. Anycubic Cobra, no idea, I've never used an Anycubic FDM machine. Some people, I think Uncle Jesse did a video on it. I think he likes it. I don't know. Again, all those machines, all V-wheel bed flingers to me, I don't really, they're all very similar. That's why I was so excited about the SV06, because it wasn't just another shitty V-wheel bed flinger. Although, guess what the SV07 is? Nice going, Saval. You guys were doing good. You had to go back. Will I be reviewing? Unless they want to send me one. Unfortunately, while this channel is my job, this channel doesn't generate enough revenue that I could go out and buy several $1,000 machines a year just to review. It doesn't make sense. It's not economically viable for me. So if they send me a machine, which reality, I don't know if they saw my videos on the Sonic Pad, but they did reach out to me the other day. So we'll see. We'll see how that one is. Where's Peter? I'm gonna delete that comment, and if I see you call somebody a shill again, I'm kicking you out of the channel. We don't use that word around here unless it actually is, you can actually back it up with information. I'm trying to get people to stop using that word inappropriately. And by inappropriate, I mean not reading what the actual word means. Sonic Pad wasn't really that great. Sonic Pad is shit. This is a company just agreed to send me a $1,000 machine, but actually I don't even know what the price is. But Sonic Pad is pointless. Okay, you want go get a Big Tree Tech Pad 5, or they're coming out with the Pad 7. It does the exact same thing, and guess what? You're not stuck with a completely locked down device at the mercy of Creality for updates with Clipper, because they run their own version of Clipper that they forked, and they only randomly put out updates. So you're yeah. I've been contacted by a Spanish company making bamboo-like. Is that the Ella Maru? Let me go check. Yes, I think it is, because I got him in my DMs here. I don't know. It's buried because I didn't reply to it, but probably. Oh, hello, face cam. Hello. Why did you turn off? Okay. Hello? Hello? I'm back. Hopefully that was just a random fluke. Hopefully that was a random fluke. Big True Tech pad 5, and I think they're making a pad 7. All it is it's a Raspberry Pi CM4, or you can use their CB1 on a touchscreen, and it's a single unit. So I've got a pad 5 here. It's a great little device. I actually want to turn this into like a Steam Deck type thing, but I need to figure out controllers for the side. But if you want an all-in-one Clipper controller, that's it. Don't go with Creality's lockdown thing, because it's locked down. It completely violates the point of running Clipper, which is a fully open source firmware. I don't know why the camera did that. This camera has never overheated. And it did that. How are you using the Prusa profiles? How's the speed quality? I've been running the stock profiles for the Prusa since I've been running everything stock. So if you're curious, this is a 0.02 speed profile. This with support, organic support in Prusa Slicer 2.6 Alpha 6 Beta, took 4 hours. And look at those glasses. Yes, I shake. Yeah. I got a whole bunch of rocket engines. Somebody was asking if it does flexibles. Yeah, it does flexibles just fine. This is Polymaker TPU, and this is flexible TPU. It prints it. It just handles it just fine. And I did print this at the 0.15 quality setting. And this is in some Sparta 3D Galaxy PLA. The base is 0.3 layer height. And that's a Chelsea model. Like, look how smooth that hair is. Look how smooth that is. So it's like a semi-transparent blue, sparkled blue PLA. Is the V400 pad? No, the V400 it runs mainline Clipper, versus the Sonic pad, which runs Creality's fork of it, and you're fully dependent on Creality for updates. Yeah, the Ariel had organic support. It's not as much though. Why not Core XY? Because it's an i3. If you want an XL, if you want a Core XY from Prusa, it's the XL. They have a completely different machine for that. It's actually coming along. It's actually coming along pretty dang good. Still a sock? I don't know why it doesn't have a sock. Apparently the Mark IV has a sock. I don't know why this doesn't have a sock yet. You can download a print a mold for it, and I have a video on my channel on how to make a sock. Videos. Search sock. Yeah. So I have a video on my channel on how to make a sock, a silicone sock, because originally the mosquitoes didn't have one. So I have a video on how to do it. So you can download, there's a mold on printables, and you can download that, use some high temperature RTV gasket sealant, and make your own sock. It works pretty good. Like, this is obviously a mosquito on a V2.2, so it's a little bit of an older video, but you can make one. I don't know why this doesn't have a sock. I legit don't know why it didn't come with a sock. Like, that's kind of like, what the heck, Prusa? That no sock, no input shaper. Some people really care about the touchscreen not being a touchscreen yet. I really don't give a shit. I don't like touchscreens. I like the clicky knob. But like, no input shaper and no sock out of the box. I'm like, why? Those are my two, like, why so far. Working on it. I know they're working on it, but like, it's a sock. Physical touch. Yeah, I like buttons. I much prefer buttons on my printers. Because when you're like looking at like your okay, it's a Mark IV, so you don't have to do this. But when you're setting your first layer and you're like going down with the piece of paper and you're looking, or you're trying to watch and you're trying to live adjust the setting, having a touchscreen is super annoying because you gotta actually like, oh shoot, I didn't push the right area. People at Prusa hate socks. They fear they fall off and they have support tickets. Okay, I haven't had a sock fall off a printer in quite a while, so. V6 socks fall off. Okay, that might explain. I don't run V6s at any of my machines. The socks cause more issues than they help. Fair enough. Like, to be fair, like, I've been printing with this machine non-stop, and there's the nozzle. Like, I don't know about you, that don't look dirty at all. Now, granted, all I've been doing is printing PLA and TPU. I did try to find some PETG so I can print PETG. Guess who doesn't own any PETG apparently? This guy. Well, this heater block isn't a V6 heater block, so I don't know. The bamboo socks say I'm fine. Speaking of, I had to replace the tool head or the hot end in my Bamboo Lab P1P because it crashed yesterday. I don't know how, because I got the time lapse of it. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Here. Freaking Bamboo deleted the evidence of their crime. Where did it? Oh, I closed OBS. There we go. Open OBS. There we go. Okay, cool. So I'm printing. This is on the P1P. So I'm printing this guy. I printed this rocket engine 3 times now. Okay, once on the Mark IV, and then twice on the P1P. Once at V2, or at its stock speeds, which is this one right here, and then at the same speeds as a Mark IV. And it gets right near the top, and it conveniently drops out like right before it crashes. Like, how do I move ahead of frame? Shift that one. There's a way to advance frame by frame, and I can't remember how to do it in Media Player. But either way, it like misses the crash. Like it. But either way, you can see it like got stuck in there and bent the heat break. But yeah, if you're curious, it's easy to tell because you just look for the one with the perfect first layer and you know that one's the Mark IV. So this is the same filament on the same machine, but one was printed in a little over 6 hours, probably about 6.5 hours. The other one was 13 hours and like 10 minutes. Look at the difference in print in finish. Okay. This one is super matte and this one's shiny, and it's the exact same filament. Like, also the Bamboo's got some nasty VFAs in it. Of increased cooling. It's because what you want, the faster you print, CNC Kitchen, Stefan did a video on it about the downsides of printing fast. Best PETG or ASA? I don't know, because I don't print a lot of PETG, and ASA I don't really use a lot. Prusa Mk, go buy some Prusa Mk. It's good stuff. Or because Prusa Mk's expensive, it's a Polymaker. Link in the description, and you can win some. So enter for your chance. You can just win it and try it out yourself. Ballot V, 2,490 Hungarian monies. Jesse, I haven't tried Jesse PETG yet. I've used their PLA. It's good stuff. Polymaker ASA is really good. The V0 over there is all Polymaker ABS, and it's good. Personally, I don't really know, like, there isn't a huge difference between ABS and ASA for majority of people. Yeah, ABS is a little bit more UV resistant, so if your print's gonna be outside all the time, but I've yet to have any of my ABS prints degrade, but I don't leave my prints outside. And there is a lot of good quality ASA and not a lot of really shitty ASA. There's a lot of really shitty ABS, but if you get good ABS and good ASA, they're pretty much identical. ASA smells a lot less. If you use good ABS, it doesn't smell. Like this right here, this is from Replatech, which I gotta check what's going on with them. They're a local filament manufacturer. Everything on their website is out of stock right now. So I don't know if they've shut down or what. I hope not. But this is their Replatech PLA 3D 850 resin. Because I hope they didn't shut down, because they make the good shit. They make this. This is the stuff I like. What does that say? MG94 ABS. And it's a 600 meter spool. So you could fit, it's like 1.5 kilograms almost of filament. So it's really good when you're printing big things, because you can just load up that spool holder. Unless you're printing with an AMS. Even with the Hydra, this doesn't fit. Any ideas when you'll be installing CNC tap? I don't know. I got to figure out if I'm going to right now, because I got the CNC tap kit, and they went with MGN. Ooh, focus. Oh. Uh-oh. Am I still live? Why'd that go away? Why'd that go? Why did it shut down? Oh, we're still live. So I've got the CNC tap kit by Chaotic Lab, who, by the way, never reached out to the Voron team and completely did this on their own. They went with an MGN7 rail in here. We tried that. We didn't go with MGM7 because it's weeble wobbly AF. And guess what's weeble wobbly? This has got a little bit too much flex to make me happy. Like it's not so bad when it's locked. But I can feel it. It's kind of weeble wobbly. I don't like it. Oh, there's now like a 90-day lead time on raw materials. They're just waiting on some more before they produce more. About what? More on what? Produce more what? Good to show on stream. Well, here's the thing. I don't want to tear down a machine to put a defective thing on it. And this has got some, like, I know enough people already don't like tap because it's weaker. I've never had an issue with it. But this I could feel. Like, it's... You could feel it. Yeah. Oh, for Replatech. Oh, what was it? 90-day. Okay, so they're just out of stock. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm a tool maker. It's fixable. The problem is I don't have any tooling that can fix this, and I'm not going to shim a rail. It's an MGN7 rail. Wobble more than your V2 0.2. It probably wobbles the same amount, which is not good. It doesn't use the rail for pro. So how tap works, I have a whole video on my channel, but basically how tap works is your tool head mounts to the rail, okay, and it goes your X rail, and then the tool head itself. So this whole assembly, there's a printed version in tap, like the real version of tap is a printed version. So you got part that attaches to your X rail, and this allows the tool head to move. and then your actual tool head mounts to this. So what happens is as it comes down, it pushes against the bed. And in this case here, it reverses. So on normal tap, as it moves up, it touches, it breaks an optical sensor or a micro switch. This one, there's a micro switch built in and it's always touching it. And when the micro switch moves up, it unclicks, which activates it. So that's how it works. So this moves up and down. Okay, so you're probing with the nozzle. The only downside is this is an MGN7 rail, which we like got rid of really early in testing because it wasn't stable enough. We went with MGN9. They went with MGN7 because they didn't talk to us. They just went and did their own thing, and they're wobbly. So, benchy done. Hey, that's pretty good. Okay, so here is your 25-minute benchy on a Prusa Mk4. No input shaper. Bow's pretty clean. You got some ringing. There is ringing, that's for sure. Not a lot of stringing. First layer is perfect because of course it is. So we do have some ringing. We do have some ringing, that's for sure. Try and get some really harsh lighting on it so you can really see it. But for 25 minutes, that's pretty good. Going to fit on, oh, I didn't buy it. They sent it to me. So I didn't pay for anything. Okay, so that is that. So how can we improve this? What setting should we play with next? Sub 10. Well, we did, and the thing is, look at this. This is, what was it, 3 minutes. So we went from 19 minutes, 22 minutes, or 25 minutes. Or no, 22 minutes, because originally it was, what, 19 and it failed. And then it was, what, 22 minutes? So 3 minutes print time difference between these two. And so much better for 3 minutes. That's nothing. Should I get a Prusa enclosure? Okay, Pantone. The Prusa enclosure is really marketed at businesses, educational, and schools. And those people with kids. You're much better off for an at-home user going with like a Lax. It's a lot cheaper and it does the same thing. So. Yo, what's this? Oh. Replace, yeah, instead of having an idler here, we're just gonna put another stepper motor here on the X. Ugh. Well, pretty solid good stuff. What else is on the SD? There's a file on the SD card I haven't looked at yet. RC Sandy Mini. What is RC Sandy Mini? There we go. Oh, this cold is not fun. because I'm talking a lot, my throat's getting really dry right now, and it's like hurting. Okay. Okay. So that is 25 minutes, and it looks pretty good. So we're still under extruding on the top layer. So let's see here. So we're under extruding on the top layer. So top solid infill, we're gonna drop that down to like 2K Excel. Okay. Infill will bump up to 6,000. We'll bump our infill speed up to 300. Small perimeters are good. We're good there. External perimeters with that. Solid infill. All two. Trying to think of what else we can do. Let's bump that first layer speed up. Turn off Z hop. Turn off Z hop. Oh, wait, that's over here. Printer settings. Extruder 1. Let's see. 0. No Z hop. Cooling 100% for everything. Okay. Trying to think what else we can do because we want to try and get some eke out a little bit better quality. Bump excels 1,000. We could do 6,000. So internal, yeah, we'll leave that one 5,000. Travels 6,000. Bridge 6,000. Solid infill 6,000. Top solid, we'll leave that slow because that's under extruding like mad. Up the jerk. I don't want to play with the jerk. Okay. Let's see what we got right now. So this is 23 minutes. So this saves 2 minutes. So this saves 2 minutes. We're basically trying to maximize speed to quality. Does this see what we can eke out of this, where we can sacrifice and where we can gain. Oh, I saved that to the wrong folder. Okay, export finished. Extrusion multiplier. We could do that, but I'm hoping it's acceleration related because you could see like it's under extruding at the start, which is usually an issue with accelerations. I just haven't hooked this up to my network yet. Like I don't have it set up for that because again, this machine's going back. This isn't my machine. Do you speed run Voron and Prusa at the same time? Oh, do a speed run. I could. MG Chemicals filament. Their PETG is good. That's the only thing I've used. What are my thoughts on Beacon? It's an inductive probe. It does everything an inductive probe does, but quicker. So if your setup uses inductive probes and you like inductive probes, a Beacon is an upgrade to that. But if you are like me and you have beds that have magnets directly in the bed, or you started using Voron tap and you're really into direct probing of the bed itself, it's kind of the same as an inductive probe then, which is I don't like using them anymore. The Beacon suffers the same issue where you have to have a uniform magnet or print surface. If you have individual magnets like a Prusa does, or like the bed on my V core that I'm building does, where it's got individual magnets, the Beacon is useless. Yes, you can avoid the areas with the magnets, but what's the point of getting a probe that's designed to probe the entire bed super fast, super accurately, so you can create a perfect mesh if you can't probe half the bloody bed? And then it's probing the metal. Not the sticker on top of it, not the PI on top of that. It's probing the metal. So if you have an uneven bed surface, which happens sometimes with the application of PI, it's not going to pick that up. It's a good system. I'm not saying it's bad, but it basically has all the limitations of an inductive probe setup, which for some people that's fine. I still have machines with inductive probes. Actually, shoot, no, I don't. But it's really fast. So. Beacon is much more reliable at higher temps than inductive probe. That's good to hear. I use nozzle probes, so higher temps mean nothing to me now. So, because I don't probe at those higher temps. Increase nozzle temperature. We could do that. The thing is, we weren't having issues with the nozzle on this one. So this was a 25-minute benchy. This is 2, 5. What was the first one we did? What was it, 19 minutes? 19 minutes. That's 25. This is gonna be 23. Beacon would be amazing. Yeah, if you had a really big printer with a continuous bed surface, Beacon would make sense, because then you could probe the whole thing really quickly. And at temperature. Oh, there's that little. But like I was tempted to get one. I was tempted to actually put one on the V-core until somebody's like, you can't, because I'm using segmented beds. Oh, 22 minutes, that's right. I was denting my smooth PI, so I'm texturing PI, or like, okay. Yeah, I run textured PI on my machines. So here's the thing with nozzle probing. The nozzle probe on this, like 150 grams to trigger. Tap is like 900. Tap uses a lot more force. You will put little dings in your bed tapping with the nozzle, but it takes a long time to actually do damage. Like tens of thousands of probes to actually damage the bed. And other than the one location where you Z home, which I can't even see on here, every time you probe on this, the probe's going to be different, because it probes based on the print object, and it's always going to be different. So make the pass to avoid the magnet. But what is that? Cell GD. What's the point of running a bed probe that's designed to be able to probe the entire bed accurately really quickly, so you can get a perfect mesh of everything, if I can't probe half the bed? Plus, unlike my Vorons, I don't probe the bed. I do the 4 corners, do the tram, and I'm done. I don't run a bed mesh. So being able to probe the 4 corners quicker does absolutely nothing for me. How's the stock cooling? It's sufficient for the stock speeds, and even a little bit overhead. Again, this is a 25-minute benchy that we just did. So, the stock cooling is sufficient with a little bit of overhead. It uses a 5010 fan. It's used, both the fans now are deltas too. So. Any ideas? Make sure the bed is really clean with textured PI. Bump your temperatures up. Textured PI, I print PLA at a 65-degree bed. I'm using unclicky and unclicky sex bolt for Z. Perfect layers 95% of the time. There you go. Like the LDO V2 uses clicky and it's fine. V226 uses tap, and I've had perfect first layer since I put that on. You have to be present. Nope. You do not have to be present to win. What are these settings? I'm playing with them live. So if you're like, we're just messing around with settings in the slicer right now. So pause the screen now if you want to know what slicer settings we're using. 70-degree bed still work. Make sure it's really clean then. You might have to scuff it. You may have to refresh it if it's an older flex plate with, like, if you have a little acetone, you can kind of refresh PI with acetone, very lightly wipe it down with acetone to make sure there's no like pooling of it, or a very light sand. How long do you have to? You can enter multiple times. Like, no, don't enter multiple times. But there's no timer on how long before you can re-enter for the Polymaker ones. They're used to G10. I like my textured PI. That's pretty much what I've been running on all my machines, and it's been pretty good. Shouldn't need to heat the bed. You need to heat the bed for, unless you're using something sticky or blue tape, you should be heating your bed. Actually, where did that go? Where did that go? Over here. Yeah, we'll give this a try after. I'm gonna have a little fun because everything I printed on this machine has been with the smooth PI. So while this is, not for this machine, the switch wire uses the same bed. So we're gonna put this on after for the next print. I want to see how a textured bed does. Soap and water is amazing. Yep, that works. Acetone gets micro cracks. That's good to know. I've only used it a couple times and I've never had an issue, but again, only a couple times. These? I got this is LDO makes them. So LDO reseller. Hongsy, I just spoke about the beacon earlier. It's pros and cons of an inductive probe. A little bit better at higher temperature apparently, and it's really fast. But if your bed has segmented magnets in it, or individual magnets like a Prusa bed does, or my Mk4 bed does, you can't use it. And it probes the metal, so you have to have a metal bed. Versus, my V2 here, which has tap, which is a bed, like a probe, where, I could tell it to home, while we're having a nice conversation and, my hand just errantly sitting on the bed and I'm not paying any attention in the world. And I'm just talking while the tool head comes down and it's going to hit my hand. But because it uses, tap, I'm now leveled to my hand. So for this, I could throw a glass bed in here and print right on it without changing a thing. It would automatically just use that offset to that and off you go. DFH, get the 5 community memberships. Cheers. How you been? I haven't seen you in a while. You getting sleep? Hopefully you're sleeping. What's your opinion on Prusa sticking with 2130s? Here's the thing. I don't know why they did. I don't know why they didn't go to 2209s, because they use 2209s on the Mini XL. 2209s run quieter, or I think they run a little bit quieter. They run cooler, they're more efficient, and they have more torque than 2130s. So I don't know why they stuck with 2130s. Maybe it's something to do with their firmware, maybe, or they have more experience with them, or they just have like a warehouse full of them that they need to use. I don't know why. Now here's the thing. It appears to be working. So if it works, it works. But I don't know why they went with 2130s. Building a boot, maybe in the future. Supply chain issues, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Like that's something I want to know. 2130 has SPI. Is that a limitation though? Like 2209s use UART. UART's fine. Yeah, so that's UART. Isn't there like 2224s? Like, is maybe they had to stick with something that runs SPI, maybe? I don't know why, though. I think the 2224s use SPI as well. But yeah, I don't know why. Like, if it's working, it's working, but still. $2240s. Yeah, so they could have, I don't know, maybe it's a cost thing, who knows? Or maybe it's because they spent so much time tuning things with 2130s on the Mark IIIs, they figure it's just easier to keep them. Match that better to the 7. That is the thing. Certain drivers run certain motors better. These motors, if you built the Voron with the 0.9 degrees XY steppers, they're the same motor. Pretty much. I think they're pretty, there's no number on them. There's no like serial number on them. But as far as I'm aware, yeah, they're they're quite similar to the LDO. Well, they are LDOs. So, hey, look, there's the same motor. Also, does the Mark IV have crash detection? It's not advertised anywhere, does it? No, I don't care about the Golf. Prusa. Do they advertise this as having crash detection? I don't see crash anywhere. Yeah, I don't see anything about crash detection. So I don't think they're running crash detection. Find out, bump the nozzle. Yeah, the print's printing okay. I don't want to ruin the print. How do you think companies... well, the design hasn't been released yet. I think after the whole hubbub about everyone and their mom saying they canceled their XL order for Y printer, and getting internet points for being so courageous to say that in the comments of everything. I figure that's why they just went, oh, hey, the Mark IV exists, buy it now. Boom. They did the Apple thing. Also, I bet that gives them a bit of a grace period before China does what China does and copies us. I fully expect you will see near similar mechanical clones of the Mark IV and the XL within a year. Electronics wise, it might take a little bit longer. So resume after crash. It does do power resume. Actually, when I was printing, which print was it? Me. Was it me or the cube? Yeah. Yeah, it was a cube. So I was printing this cube. Or was it this cube? I don't know. We did it on a stream. We did it crash. We resumed a crash print midstream and it worked. And then actually power went out during a thunderstorm and it resumed just fine as well. So next extruder. I want to put one in a Voron. The next extruder itself is actually really nice. And I happen to have, where are you? Because I'm totally not stealing this idea from some random person that happened to be on, where did it go? Anyways, I've got like a piece of 3/8 plexiglass that I totally want to machine a cover for this. And so on mine, I can remove this printed cover plate and put a clear one so you can see the extruder working. I really want to do that. So. They're low inductus, okay. Then Prusa changed the license. China still do what China does. China don't care. But yeah, so what we're gonna do is when this print's done, we're gonna try a flex plate and see how it does. Cover plate holds gear. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm going to machine it. if you print really fast. No, this actually takes quite a bit of a watch. Like, you really have to push it for this to open, and like it snaps into position. So the clones of the tool changer, that'll be the interesting part, because the tool changers are a fickle beast, because it needs to be 100% repeatable and indexable. Transparent. Yeah, so I gotta look for it. I have a sheet of clear plexiglass somewhere. I gotta find where it went. Now I have it somewhere. But you gotta mill a pocket into it, so I'm gonna have to machine it. But yeah, that's the plan. I want to machine one. Yeah, I know it'll get scratched to hell, but it'll be cool. Do we know the kit? The kit will be 800 USD, 799 USD. So you're saving about 300 bucks going with the kit. And it's probably take you about 10 hours to build. I think they say 8. But once you factor in, you know, clean up and opening the box and yeah. Transparent resin. Yeah, when I get the kit, I will be... How else do you think I'm going to offset the cost of buying the kit? I'm going to use it for content. And we build printers on this channel, so. A rigid side. Yeah, that's why I'm going to have to machine it. I'll basically, once they release the STLs or the CAD for the extruder, I'll just pull that in and machine it. Like, just machine that, basically. Mark 4 P1P. That depends, up to you. Like, let me see here. Let me put it up. Okay. So, this right here is a Mark 4. Okay. This is a P1P. P1P, you've got these VFA artifacts here. Mark 4 does it, but it's not as smooth. Like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe. So this is Mark 4. This is P1P. This is same spool filament, same speeds and feeds. So I'm running the P1P slower. Okay, I'm running the P1P at the speeds a Mark 4 runs for these print comparisons here. Okay, so this is this one's P1P Mark 4. So you can see the text there on the P1P Mark 4. You can see a bit of ringing. You got this weird VFA pattern on the P1, or which one's this? Which one's this? Yeah, so this is Mark 4. So this one's P1P Mark 4. P1P Mark 4. So you can see, like, right here, you got that little defect. Mark 4 doesn't have that. They all have this here, because this is where this part that's been detached from the main body reattaches. So they both have that. It's more pronounced on the P1P, which is kind of funny. Like, look at this detail there on the Mark 4. There's P1P. And you still have this, like, VFA thing. You can see all these VFAs. But you got the little ring there, which the P1P doesn't have. But again, this doesn't have input shaper yet. You can see right here, there's this band right there. Mark 4 is a little consistent. So it's kind of like take and give. The Mark 4 is better in some regards, but worse in some regards. So this is P1P. There's Mark 4. P1P, Mark 4. So yeah, they're not perfect. Oh, speaking of not perfect, that's a layer shift. Holy shit. Okay. We're gonna let this finish though, because that's cool looking. David shows up just as the print has a layer shift. So every layer shift we've only had 2 so far, has been on the y-axis. So yeah, this, oh. I've also turned off Z-hop, so it might have caught on it. This doesn't have crash detection. So maybe turning off Z, we'll try this exact same print again, but with Z-hop on. Yeah, we'll test crash. I don't think it has crash detection. Nope, it does not have crash detection. Yeah, it doesn't have crash detection. Okay. Yeah, no crash detection. I will say though, it Tokyo drifted the fuck out of that wheelhouse. Look at that overhang. Look, the back part. Look how clean that is. Look at that overhang. But hey, how are you going to test the failure if it doesn't fail? Okay. So I'm going to turn Z-hop back on. What was it? I don't know. I'm going to go with my 0.4 that I like to run. Okay, so we got Z-hop back on. Print settings. So what did it shift on? I'm assuming it just shifted on the Z-hop. That's like the only thing I could think of is it got caught. So what should bridge? Yeah, so let's just try it again, but with Z-hop on and see if that. So it's a 25-minute benchy again. Oops, save it to the SD card. I need to save a little bit of time though. Well, we'll try it again. The crash detection. That's the thing with crash detection. It's really, if you tune your printer right, you shouldn't need crash detection. If you're running realistic speeds and feeds for your printer, you shouldn't need crash detection. Buy Mark 4 now or wait for all the features are available, like accelerometer. So Dennis, if you buy it now, it's a firmware update. They're not going to ship it with an accelerometer. The way they're going to do input shaper, from what I can tell, unless somebody's able to correct me on this, it's basically going to be a pre-tuned value. So they're going to do, like, it has a port on the controller box for plugging in an accelerometer. I don't know if they'll ship one with the printers, okay? I have a feeling it'll be like a pressure advance value, where they're just going to go, this is the input shaper value for a Mark 4. Maybe they'll have a few different values so you can do some test prints and pick between a few different values, whichever one comes the best. Go, hey, this is the input shaper tune you should run. Because input shaper, like, let me pull up some sophisticated graph paper here. Okay. So here's your input shape, okay? Okay. So with no input shaper, you're down here. This is no input shaper, okay? But when your input shaper is perfect, you're right here, right? Perfectly tuned. But you've gone ahead and you've moved your printer. Okay, you moved your printer from this bench, which is wobbly, to a more sturdy bench. Well, now you're here, okay? Or your belts aren't as tight. Now you're here. So basically, input shaper, it's kind of like, this is perfect, but as you move away from your perfect optimal setup, you're still better than no input shaper for the most part. I'm sure there's outlying cases. So I have a feeling they'll probably just go, here's the firmware with input shaper enabled. These are the values. And you might be able to do a test print and recalibrate them, but I got a feeling it'll come with a set value. And then, you know, if you want to buy an accelerometer and go all do it yourself, then you can. I'm really not 100% sure how they said they're going to do it. The same value across the environment's been working. That makes sense because all the machines are pretty much the same. Yes, on paper, anything that changes in your printer will affect input shaper. So right now, I've got one spool. If I were to run input shaper now, throw this bitch on and run it again, my input shaper value will be different. But again, you're going from this to this. Ugh. So it's not like it immediately is horrible input shaping. It's just not as optimal, but it's still better than none. And that makes a lot of sense if all their machines are running the same value, because they're all the same machine. Whew. Prusa it up, public, oh, that's right. Yeah, we kind of do the same thing with Voron. Oh man, I forgot to switch the spring shield sheet. By the way, it's the PID tune for all the Revos is the same. All Revos PID pretty much the same. Same thing. They have such tight control on it that it's pretty much the same. What brand of the battery grip? Okay, I don't know what this is. See, I've been filming stuff for the video on the Mark IV. This is my camera, he's asking. I don't know. These batteries are MPF550s from Newer. I've got like 3 of them. So this is how I run my camera. This came with the A6300 when I bought it used. So this is a dummy battery that plugs in. So this basically, these batteries are 2600 milliamp hours, and the stock batteries are like half that. So I can run this twice as long on batteries, basically. That's why I do it. And it also gives me another grip because I shake like a mofo. So this gives me another grip. I kind of want to get a monitor for this because right now when I'm recording, I have it like that and the cage hides half of it. So I'm tempted to get a monitor for this, but I don't know what. But this is my like recording setup for videos. And then what I do is I just attach the DJI mic to it when I'm recording videos now. Did I ever make an MZ bot? Yes. MZ bot was just the name of Voron Design before it became Voron Design. The camera looks expensive. It's an A6400. It's not even a full frame. I would love to have a Sony full frame. I like Sony cameras. The autofocus is really good on them. And I already have 3 Sony cameras, so all the lenses are compatible. You know, I only have 2 aftermarket lenses. That's a Sigma 16s. That's a Tamron 24. I kind of want to change the lens on this. I used the Tamron 24 because it was cheap. The autofocus on it is horrendous, so I have to manually focus everything. And I kind of want to get like an 18 to 50 lens or something like that, so I could actually do a little bit more. For framing, because this room is small. So use the Sonic pad. I can't. I would if I could, but I can't. You can't. You got no control over it, and there's no HDMI in. So cheaper. Yeah, they have the ZV E1. That's still like $3,000 Canadian, which I don't know. My videos look good enough, I think. So. Marketing lens is amazing. Yeah. So I've been, that might be, I haven't bought the, like I did buy this. I have been buying equipment. I've been trying to avoid buying equipment just to save costs. But I did buy this for the events I'm going to this year. I got my DJI wireless or dual wireless lav setup for events this year. So this way I can use my GoPro with this, and I got wireless lavs, and this is my whole setup, and no more carrying around a mic. So. Post a link to talking to Prusa Engineer about load cell and feature. You'd have to, you can't post links. YouTube doesn't allow you to post links unless you're a mod, and I'm not gonna make a mod. But you can post it in the Discord if you want. I don't care. Does input shaping variation matter more when you're printing at higher speeds, or is it as clear when you're printing? Okay. Input shaping allows you to print at higher speeds without losing quality, is the way to put it. So if you print really slow and you get good quality, running input shaper and still printing really slow, you're probably not going to see much of a difference. What's your take on heater thermistor versus bed thermistor? You need them both. I'm not sure what you are asking about, though. Oh, very funny, John. Very funny. Let me pull up with Discord here. Yeah, let's see anything on Discord. That's a nice GoPro. I know. When the firmware decides to work properly, which I think it kind of is right now. But basically the setup is when I do live events now, I do this. Where is my cable? So kind of tempted to get a shorter cable for this, but it works good enough. Okay. And turn on. There we go. Now it's on. Okay, cool. So I've got this, which sees all. I can see the audio from the front from the two lav mics, so left and right, and I have it set up so that basically it's left and right audio, so I can mix it easier. And this allows me to even get a front-facing camera, so when I'm recording stuff, I can just do like this and then talk and whatever, and it's got really good stabilization because I shake like a mofo, so now I don't need a tripod. So I've got this, I got wireless lav mics. This is my whole setup now when I do live events, is this. So. And then when I'm recording videos, I use this for videos now. Because it's just easier to clip this on here with the lav and or with the cable, and off I go. Did they use Massimi or THK? I don't know, because I did pull one of these off to take a look. I took off one of the covers. They're unlabeled. Can you turn off? I would have to pull the Prusa link information because I didn't save it. I'm assuming you can connect to it pretty much right away because it's running on the metal. So no ridiculously bulky gimbal. No, I like lightweight setups when I'm filming stuff on the go. I don't like VOD content. I hate making. Oh, I don't hate make VOD content. I'd rather make just live streams, which I can live stream from that now. They finally fixed it, so I can live stream from the GoPro through my phone. Let's see here. I want to change something. Info. User interface. Okay, this is kind of annoying. I'm playing with the header here. And I want to change what it says. So I could set it to like change XYZ position, Z axis, Z height, print fan. So the RPM of the print fan, hot end fan, heat break temperature. Oh shoot, they have a sensor for the heat break temp. Okay, well the heat break temp is 35C. Finda, what's Finda? I know what a Pinda probe is, but what's a Finda? None. There's no timer. There's no timer. There's no timer. You got a remaining time, but it doesn't tell you how much time has elapsed. That would be nice. I don't know why it doesn't have like a print timer, like a built-in print timer. That would be nice. Using the MMU. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Mike Philippines, $10. Love what you do, man. Keep doing it. Cheers. Thank you. With Prusa Mk4 Pi, PW. Okay, Victor, the reason it takes so long on a Pi Zero, because the Pi has to boot up into an operating system, and then you're good to go. This is just an ESP chip directly on the motherboard. So pretty much as soon as you boot up, you should be able to connect to it. Try with TPU. I've already printed with TPU on this. It prints fine. Long press and settings. Well, we'll wait till this print's done, and then we'll probably do one more print after, and then that'll be it. Have we tried Ultim? We tried once, the front fell off. How unwise would it be to break down? Will, probably actually a good idea. You probably get more out of it as a rook than an old MakerBot. Unless it's like you want to try and like sell it to a collector. Yeah. First official. No, we've done only benchy streams before where we just play around with speed settings. Is your mini clone clipperized? No, we're in stock firmware. Come across with the Mark IV printing. I really like the new tool head. The extruder is really good. Part cooling in the hot end work good enough, where it's not an issue. The first layers this thing does is just beautiful. It's kind of annoying with Prusa Link that when you want to connect to it, tune. I don't think I can do it in here. I have to like wait till the print's over. It's like your username is Maker and your password is bleh, and there's no way to change it to an actual easy to remember password. So you gotta like take a picture of it with your phone and type it in on the computer. That part's kind of annoying. I have a Prusa Mk4 in it. Take it apart, pack all your bearings with grease. These, they did it right on this. They did it right on this one. That's grease. They packed the bearings with grease on this thing. So you got grease in your bearings on a Mark IV instead of just the oil that comes with them. So they actually packed these bearings with grease. So. Giving that to an LCD, a QR code would be. But the thing is, most people probably want something on their computer. You need it on your computer. because your slicer is on your computer. You're not slicing from your phone. Prusa Link is pretty much good for just uploading files and percentage of like status. It'd be really nice if this, you could like link an IP cam into the interface, like an ESP32 or just any other cheap IP cam. Because that's another thing. I really wish this came with a webcam. I really think at this price point, printers should have webcams now. Like, it's nice that it has Wi-Fi for monitoring and print uploading, but it'd be really nice if it had a webcam. Or on Doom Cube, nice profile. I don't know, I've never built a Doom Cube. So around here's where we had the layer shift last time. So Z-hop, I think, is kind of what we wanted to make sure we had on. Agree, add a camera time. Well, here's the thing, you can just use Octoprint. But like, it's 32-bit and it's all enclosed. So adding Octoprint to this is pretty much remote file transfer in the add-ons. Which you can do remote file transfer already with Prusa Link. So pretty much the only reason, in my opinion, to really go with Octoprint on here is if you absolutely need some of the add-ons, which I don't use any of them, and remote monitoring. So it would be really nice if you could use like an ESP32 camera, which is a little compact Wi-Fi camera, run it off 5 volts that you steal somewhere at a controller board, and then off you go. So. Who's going to buy the enclosure? Schools and businesses. The average home person is going to DIY one like a lax enclosure. Yeah, the part fit's not a 50. It's not a 4010. It's a 5010. 5010 or 50. It's a little bit wider actually. It's hard to do. Yeah, I can't do that. I think it's like a 5010 fan. Yeah, Prusa Connect is for multiple printers, I believe. I think it's cool companies starting to sell printers. The problem is Clipper, in my opinion, is still not at the level of mass production. It's still, what's going to happen when there's an update to Clipper where you have to reflash your controller board? Because every now and then Clipper puts out an update that you have to reflash the firmware on the controller board. How many people are going to be disassembling their V400 to get at the controller to flash that thing? And then you have to explain to people how to do that, because all I did is, oh, I clicked the update button, now my printer don't work. I got to take it apart to update the controller. And then you have to explain to them how to generate, you know, or you probably just company, because you have to know what all controllers are, you just have the file ready to download. Although, yeah, lax, just get some extrusions. Just hit up Masumi, get enough extrusions to make a cube with some plexiglass or acrylic from Home Depot, and throw it over your printer. Good to go. Too scared to update Clipper. All right, let's see here. How fast was the benchy we printed the other day on the V0? All the bed sheets. Porter, remove things like PSU or screen outside if you want. I really like, most electronics can take a bit of heat before you have issues. The issue is mostly going to be your controller board and heating up your drivers. Screen doesn't matter. Power supplies can take heat. No, I'm trying to remember how long it took the benchy that we printed on the live stream, though. On Saturday's live stream. Mark 3 at Mark 4. It won't be as good. I know that. Because we played around with the Mark 4 on the members, or the Mark 3 running Mark 4 speeds on the member stream, and it can't do the speed. It's limited firmware wise for the Excels, and it's a lot louder. Drop the V0 and check history. I can do that. To 40 minutes, I think. Wait for that to connect. We're gonna solid set on email. Okay, you want to and great show winners. So if you that's funny. Okay, so this printer is online. The printer's V1. Okay, so the benchy that we printed was 37 minutes, yeah. Yeah, so 37 minutes. 36 minutes, 47 seconds. So 37 minutes. And so there we go. I got a V0 comparison and this. And different filament, so it's not a 1-to-1, but they're pretty dang close. I think the V0 beats it by a little bit. How long do they take? I've heard a month. I don't know where I heard that first from though. Oh, that's the Nero Cube. Okay, G-code files. Oh, I never. No, then what did I print on? So the Nero Cube took 37 minutes. And what the heck did I print this red benchy on? Oh no, this red benchy was done on the Mark 3. Yo, this was the Mark 3, I think. Yeah, because I was pulling that. It's that filament, I think. I think this was from the member stream. Let me check here. Here, you guys watch the printer do its thing while yeah, okay, so this was yeah, so this benchy was printed on so this benchy was printed at Mark 3 speeds. Or Mark 4 speeds on this. Yeah. Yeah. So this was Mark 4 speeds on a Mark 3. I don't know how long it took. I'd have to go dig into the thing and figure it out. Timeline for MMU3? I have no clue. And that's not something I'm going to be getting because I don't really need it. This is at 220. A battle racer to Murph. I'm not bringing anything to Rocky Mountain because I'm flying. So I won't be bringing anything to the Rocky Mountain Rep Fest other than myself and my camera equipment because I'm flying. So. How often do you have member only stream? Once a month. Usually it's the last or the second last week of the month. Although I may start doing more, we'll see. Mk4 is a good option. And no features like Bamboo Lab. What features on the Bamboo Lab? Like, honestly, my personal opinion of the Bamboo, the most innovative thing on it is the AMS. The actual machine itself, like, your opinion of the Bamboo depends on what kind of printers you used before you got it. If you are coming from the bottom and you only played around with like V-wheel bed flingers, the Bamboo seems like an amazing printer gifted to you from the Lord. Here you go, meager present. But if you're coming from like custom DIY Core XY bed flingers that you've been playing around with for 5 years, cool, you've done what we've been doing for the past 5 years. You have it in an out-of-the-box experience for $1,000. So mechanically, that machine is absolutely nothing special. In fact, it's cheap AF. They cut a ton of corners to get that thing into the price range. So the only innovative thing is they've managed to do it at their price. And the AMS. I think the AMS is the best part, honestly. Okay, so... yeah, still a little cooked. Still a little cooked. Yeah, it's about the same. It's about the same. So how can we get a little bit better out of this? How can we get a little bit better out of this? Let's put that spring steel on. Yeah, bearing goes back. Yeah, it's gonna be fun because they have bearing stacks for this in the back. Like, Core XY puts a lot of force on the bearings, especially high speed. What's the game plan when your bearings start failing on a Bamboo? Ship the entire machine back? Like that's what they want you to do. Is if you know, I don't think it's easily user serviceable to replace your front bearings, your front idlers. Yeah. So what are you gonna do when you blow a bearing? Send it back every time? Okay, so we're still having some not great quality out of this. I'm basically, we're trying to fudge the numbers as much as possible to get the best quality out of this. So 2000 there. External perimeters, let's do 75 and bump that down to 175. Infill's fine. Infill don't matter. It's for the bushings, you have to send it back. Yep. So 27 minutes now. So let's see how this works. This will be the last thing we print today because I gotta figure out dinner after this. So make sure you enter for your chance to win some Polymaker filament that we're gonna give away at the end of the stream. Save. SVO6 is trashed and dealing with customer. What's wrong with it? Six AMS, it kind of sucks. Yeah, they're already on revision 3 of the AMS. So. So a great time to stream if you want. Yeah, normally I normally stream at this time. It's either 2 p.m. Eastern or 11 a.m. Eastern for the Tuesday and Friday streams, and then 8 p.m. EST for the Saturday stream. No issues. So I've got one AMS that's completely out of commission. The one that I put the Hydra in, this one right here, I actually had filament break inside of it. And whenever I turn it on now, filament bank 1 always tries to eject the filament and it can't. So this is completely out of use until I tear it apart and fix it. So I'm probably going to be doing a Hydra upgrade to the other AMS that I have. The bamboo print bed is also on V3. They keep having warping issues. Yeah, actually, I never checked mine, how flat mine is. Yeah, my bed seems... Yeah, my bed... Oh, no, it's warped. Yeah, it's warped. Like a 1/2 mil deviation in the back corners. It's plastic. What do you expect? So I haven't tried spring steel on this yet, so this will be fun. Hydra worth the effort? In my opinion, yes, because half my filament doesn't fit in the stock setup. Just a bad Z alignment. That happens. Did you do the setup on your home and it jams it into the top? Make sure you did that. Oh man, what am I gonna do for dinner? I need to figure out what I'm doing for dinner. No, I use cans. Okay. Oh, you did the whatchamacallit, Modbot's way. What do you think about the heater cartridge and thermistor being on the same side of the filament path on the Mark IV? It's fine. Tomato sauce. I did that yesterday. I made spaghetti yesterday. Oop, somebody got an only benchy dad hat. Cheers. Everyone uses custom. Yeah, there's a version of the custom firmware with input shaper. I'd say probably go with that. They won't tell you what Saval is, Creality, and vice versa. I don't think they're the same company. There's too much difference in the way I interact. Like, if they're the same company, then they're not the same company and they have the same parent company. I think Saval is different. At least the way they interact with me versus Creality is different. So maybe it's just different PR people though. Because Creality doesn't have a V-wheel, or doesn't have a Mark III-esque printer. Then enclosed cheaty machine. Yeah, the cheaty machines look cool. They haven't reached out to me or anything, so odds are I probably won't be reviewing one. I can't justify dropping the money to buy one just for a review, so. I did not get a sample. I didn't buy it because I was going to, but it would have cost me $50 US for a spool of filament plus taxes and shipping. So it didn't make sense for me to buy one. I wanted to, but expect to fix your own problem. That's the thing when you buy cheap Asian market printers. Support is not exactly their strong suit. Fourier 30. I'm exhausted right now because I took just before the stream started. I took some cold and sinus medicine, and the only stuff I had was the nighttime stuff. So I probably could rack out right now if I really wanted to, like in 5 minutes. Going with a Prusa XL Mini. I would love an XL Mini. XL that just uses this bed. Just take a normal XL, a single tool-headed XL, drop all the tool changing stuff, use the bed, because these beds you can actually, like the Mark 52 bed, you can actually, you have, what is it, 20, almost 24, so you got 23.5 millimeters in this direction, and you got 255 in this direction. So a Mark 52 bed, you can print bigger than 210 by 220 that the Mark 4 uses. So use the same carriage, Mark 52 bed, and just take an XL and scale it down to this size and just throw the regular neck extruder on it without the Core XY part or the tool changing part. Call it the Prusa Mini XL because that's a funny name, and just sell it. Do it. That's all I got to do. Thoughts on the... I think it's okay. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a huge, like... I'm not well versed in all the open source rules, but a lot of the open source licenses we use are software licenses, not hardware licenses, and some of the stuff doesn't translate over properly. So, time to abandon the light. Why? People keep wanting it and keep selling. Why would you abandon something that's selling? Like, people keep buying it and they keep selling. Why would you abandon it? How make money with 3D print? Sell 3D print, make money. I don't know. I start a YouTube channel. That's how you make the money. You don't make that much money. Prusa Mk4. Depends if you think you're going to be in printing for long term. If you're just looking to get your like feet wet in 3D printing and you're looking for a budget entry level printer, or you can only afford, you know, under 300, the SV06 is a really solid printer. It's not perfect. They had to do something to get it to that price range. But it's a decent printer at its price, and it's better than a lot of the other options sub 300. Now, is it worth, you know, is a Mark 4 or Mark 3, what, you can get them for 600 now for the kits? I don't know. We're in that weird transition stuff where it's like, you know, it's like when an old generation of graphics cards go out, and it's like, yeah, they're kind of old, they're a couple years old now, but they're on sale, but is it worth it? Like, it depends on what you're looking to get out of your machine. Prusa Mini XL? No, not Mini XL, XL Mini. XL Mini. Have I seen it? I've seen pictures of it in the spec sheet, but other than that, no. Let's see if we got the doggo at the door. I don't think we do, though. No. No doggo. Prusa XL Mini Mark II. Well, I could call it the i4 Mark I. The XL was the best name. I mean, it is a pretty big printer. Like I don't have an XL, obviously, but like, let's see here. I don't know about you, but this is a 350 bed. That's a pretty spicy meatball. And the XL is 10 millimeters bigger. That's a pretty big bed. If they made a bigger one, it'd be the XXL. Here's the thing, I'm pretty sure Prusa does market research and looks into what their actual, not what, you know, people on the internet think they want. They actually look into what people are buying their machines for and what they want their machines to do. And I'm pretty sure they probably crunch the numbers and did the math and say, hey, this is roughly the size of printer people want us to make. And that's why they made it that big. We want tool changing capability and we want it to be roughly this big. What do I think of 0.6 nozzle? I think it's a 0.6 nozzle. If your printer is bigger than 300, you should be running 0.6, I think, or bigger. They did a survey. Yep. What do I use to mitigate? I just try not to be in this room when I'm printing. That's about it. Everyone asking about the cheaty tech. This will be the 8th time I've said this, and I'm becoming increasingly good at it. I haven't seen one. I've seen the same things you have seen. I can't tell you if it's good or bad. I don't have one. I don't tell you to buy things I don't have or have had experience with. I've seen this movement. It's not really a movement. It just makes more sense on larger machines because it cuts down on a lot of print time, and modern slicers have a little bit better flow control for finer details. So, have I seen the Ender 3? I have. It's in a box of parts in the other room. Well spot task. Okay, for everyone on the internet who is saying the Mark IV is too much money, how the hell is Lulzbot selling their sidekicks then? Because this is much better than a sidekick, and a sidekick is how much? And it's a V-wheel bed flicker. That's the company I'm confused how they're still making printers and selling at a profit. It was Lulzbot, but I'm assuming they got a bunch of contracts that make it worth it. It's propped up by military education. That makes sense, and Prusa's diving into that. They got a cage code now. They can properly air gap their machines. Like, remember, folks, remember, you are not the entire 3D printing market. In fact, at-home 3D printing, in my opinion, is probably close to plateaued now. Pretty much everyone who's going to get into 3D printing has pretty much gotten into 3D printing. It's never going to expand to everyone having a printer at home. It's still a niche thing. So the market cap is pretty close, I think, for at-home hobby level DIY. But there's still plenty of room to grow in business and education, especially considering, you know, Polymaker wants 10 grand for an S7. So, you know, if you can market this to schools and businesses, and you got a nice cage code to get huge government contracts, and it could be for those worried about network security, because you got Bamboo requires cloud control. To update the machines and operate them with all their features, you need cloud. Anchormate, same thing. Download our app. Look what happened with Anchor with their home security system. That you know, people got into that. It's not what the company who's running the cloud service might do with your data. It's what happens if somebody hacks them. Because the last thing you want to do is a website popped up saying, guess what so and so printed, and all it is a database of every account on X printer cloud and everything they've ever printed, along with video webcam. So be like, oh, this person likes printing, you know, YouTube buddies, or oh, hey, this person works for Raytheon and they printed this. Call Joe. Joe wants to come on the live stream one day, maybe. $669 viewers. Nice. Make sure you like the smash button and enter to win some Polymaker filament, because when this print done, we're going to give away some filament. How is the Mark IV doing? So far, so good. So far, so good. No real complaints. It prints good. It even does some pretty cool drifting. How do we enter? Link in the description. Link in the video description. I will say this Z motor is kind of warm. That Z motor's warm. That Z motor's kind of warm. X motor's cooler. Why are these Z motors so hot? Extruder motor. Yeah, it's a little warm. Not too bad. Y motor. Stone cold. Hot from Z hot. Maybe. The Z motors are the hottest motors on this right now. Is the Prusa worth it? It depends on what you need the machine to do and what you think is its value. I don't know your budget. I don't know what you're looking to get out of your printer and what your requirements are. So for some people, this printer is an amazing value. For some people, it's way too much money. Have I tried an Orbiter 2? I've tried the original, or no, we have an Orbiter 2 on, I've got an original Orbiter, I think on the V-Minion, and an Orbiter 2's on the V-Core. Last day with the printer? Yeah, it's going back tomorrow. So I'm going to print something tonight. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to film a video with it, and then that'll be it. Adaptive purge line. Yep, that's what, right here, there's your little adaptive purge line. Have I tried it? I have not actually. I mean, it prints PLA and TPU just fine, so I'm sure it'll handle PETG, which that's what they use in their print farm all the time. And then ABS, I'm sure it'll print ABS fine, but it's not enclosed, so. No, I can't send it to you because the person who lent me this machine is going to want it back. It's a one-sided fan shroud. Well, the fan shroud's not exactly one-sided. It's like hook-shaped. So it gets like almost like, I wouldn't say quite a 180, maybe like 160 degrees. It's enough. Like it's more than enough for the stock speeds, that's for sure. Zero Awakening. Okay. How come a bed can't move fast? One, Mark IV would not be Core XY because then it wouldn't be an i3. Okay, this is i3 Mark IV, so it has to be an i3. So it has to move the bed. And you can move a bed fast as long as it's well built. Because this bed with the cast frame is lighter than the gantry on my Trident. And that boogies. You can move a bed. The bed on this is tiny compared to some larger printers. Now, a 400 by 400 bed, yeah, have fun moving that fast. But a well-sized bed like this can move fine. When I worked at a CNC shop, well, tool shop that has a bunch of CNC, we had probably 2/3 of the CNCs we have, and these are moving 20,000 pound plus up to 40,000 pound blocks of steel and machining things with less than half a thou tolerance or greater. The bed's moved. I'm against shitty V-wheel bed flingers that are cheap. That doesn't mean you can't build a good bed flinger. As long as you build it well and you operate it within its limits, it's fine. Here's the thing. Core XY, yeah, on paper, you can move a Core XY faster. You also have an inherently more expensive machine because you need more to build the frame. It's a cube versus, that. So you need more to build the frame. The belt runs are longer. You need more bearings, so they increase your cost. You have added complexity. Core XY isn't the perfect motion system. It's just a motion system. Core XY at this size is kind of overkill, honestly. Like even a V0 is kind of overkill for what size it is. Sparks will be faster. Yeah, and speed isn't everything, as we've found out multiple times. There's literally not... V-wheels are horrible. Like, they're not horrible, but compared to other motion systems, they're at the bottom of the barrel. Because you're at the mercy of the precision of your aluminum extrusion, which is not a precision device. They come twisted, they come incorrectly sized. It's just extruded aluminum. It's not a precision motion system. The V-wheels wear down, you get flat spots on them. They're consumable. Voron and overkill? To an extent. Metal 3D printing at home? For the most part, no, because metal 3D printing will kill you really easily if you don't know what you're doing. You got the super fine powdered dust. There's some mesothelioma for you. Speed isn't everything. Go watch Stefan's video. The faster you print, the worse your layer adhesion is. You get different surface finishes. Like, yeah. You get flat spots on rods. If you're getting flat spots on your rods, you're doing it wrong, and your rods are shit. Like, these are hardened rods. It takes a lot to wear a rod. Bearings are... Everything's a consumable if you give it enough time. V-wheels will wear out a hell of a lot quicker than bearings. Cheers, Matt. Rat rig's finished. The rat rig is finished mechanically. We're doing firmware on it this Tuesday. After 3 years, I replaced. Then your rods were not great to begin with. They should be hardened. Like I've used ejector pins in some of my builds with the rods. These are like 70 something Rockwell. These are hard as shit. You should not be wearing through your rods and bearings. Like, they should both be hardened, and they should not be like dying. And then also, if you do wear them, just take your rod and rotate it like what, like 30 degrees, and then your bearings run on a fresh surface. Yeah, you should not be running through rods that quick. Bamboo rods? Yep, bamboo's rods. Carbon fiber in the middle with a bushing bearing, which it's going to be interesting. In all I know is bamboo's going to be fun in about 6 months to a year, when everyone who's been running these machines hard and fast is starting to have bearings fail, and you can't replace them easily. It's going to be fun. Thanos the Dwarf, $15. Cheers. Thanks for putting the time in to do great streams and vids. Cheers. Actually, I printed this stupid marble thing, and the only ball bearings I have don't fit on it. IGUS bushings, but so okay. The problem with IGUS bushings, they suffer from what we call it, like internally call stiction. IGUS bushings are used a lot in like pick and place machines or motion systems where it doesn't matter what happens between A and B. I popped off the bed. Dang it. Maybe I should have cleaned this bed that's been sitting on the floor of another room for a year. Well, that ain't good. Aw. It's like, this isn't an official Prusa bed. I'm not going to stick. Reprint. But anyways, the problem with the IGUS IGUS bushings. One, you have to have them installed in a system that properly compresses them. A lot of times people don't, especially with 3D printed objects. And two, they suffer from stiction. So a lot of times they're used in cases where all that matters is getting from A to B as quick as possible. What happens in between doesn't matter, because it's like a pick and place. Pick up object here, put it down there. Okay. So as long as the start and finish position are exactly good, you're good. What happens in between doesn't matter. The problem is with 3D printing, we don't operate like that. You're constantly laying down plastic. So with the IGUS bushing, they kind of stick when they change direction. It's not huge, but you don't get as crisp corners with IGUS bushings. It's just something that happens with them. Why should you get a Prusa? Long-term support, better build quality. Those are pretty much the two big selling points. Is the machines are built better, you're going to get more support, and in the long run they'll probably last longer. That's the big thing. If you're, you know, I'm an architect student, I need something to print off things I design reliably for the next 3 years while I go to school, a Prusa makes a bit more sense. Versus, hey, I seen somebody printed this meme print and I want to print one too, and I might dabble into 3D printing a little bit over the next couple years. It might be something I don't even really dive into. And SV06 makes a lot more sense. Do you have experience with P17-4? No. I guess on the ERFA. On the ERFA it makes sense, because again, you're only it's only between positions that matter there. What is my top 5 printer? Voron, 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 and Prusa, just because that'll make somebody angry. Building an ERFA just because it's lazy to change filament. That's what I used mine for most of it, because I don't do a lot of multicolor prints, so I kept it loaded up with a bunch of different like PLAs that I used often and just use it to pick colors. So, do I use clipper on machines? Pretty much all of them. All the machines that I've built use clipper. The only ones that don't use clipper are ones that I use out of the box. What's the dragon model in the background? Are you talking about this one? I found out printables. Alinda, I can't remember what it's called. I've seen pictures of it and a video of it, but that's about it. Wait, so to use a PC? No, they all have their own Raspberry Pis or equivalent. Can you do multicolor? You can. Either manually change or use it in Reach Rabbit Carrot Feeder or any other MMU unit that's compatible with multiple printers. You can't use the newest version of the palette because it's not compatible with Clipper. And you can't use the Bamboo machine or the Bamboo AMS because that's fully locked down. It's only compatible with AMS or Bamboos. Yeah, this was a fun print. This is a marble run that I don't have any marbles that actually fit in it, but this was printed where the supports are how it works. So let me pull it up here. Yeah. So this is the actual file. So this is what you download, and this is your file for the object you're printing. But what you do is when you print it with supports on build plate only, and support material. You print it with organic supports. Or Incura use tree supports. And this is how it prints. And then you're supposed to leave the supports on. However, the problem is Prusa organic supports come off very easily. So it was an absolute pain getting this off the bed without completely ripping all the supports off. So I did kind of damage it a bit. A lot of the first layer supports broke off. But yeah, so this was on the Mark IV, obviously. Have you ever set up an ADXL on CB1 and used on the Pi 4? I have not done Clipper on a CB1 yet, or input shaping on a CB1 yet with a Pi 4 adapter. I use my own thing. I have a pre-made Pi Pico with ADXL that I use for running input shaper tunes. Yeah, the camera always stutters for a bit whenever it's slicing. It hits the CPU hard. Mark IV fan duct, it's fine. It's perfectly usable. As the machine comes out of the box, its setup is fine. There's no issue with part cooling on a standard like. There's your overhangs. It's fine out of the box. Nevermore, I don't use Nevermore on any of my machines. Have you seen the Chameleon? Yep, I have one on a Prusa Mini. Well, a knockoff Prusa Mini. Okay, what are we at right now? We got 5 minutes, so we only got 5 minutes left to do the giveaway, so make sure you enter. So it's belt tension. I just eyeball it and then adjust tighter or looser as needed. You probably have your belts tightened too much. But yeah, when it comes to belt tightening, I've just done it enough over the years. I kind of have a feel for how tight it should be and what works, and that's about it. So. Holy shit. People are bending their bed to take out the warp in it. Okay, is that the actual bed underneath? I've never actually taken the bed apart. Okay, whatever. I don't know, I just got pinged about that on Twitter. Yeah, I would not be bending a PCB bed that much. That's just asking to break something. Congrats on making it. We're gonna be done in like a couple minutes here. Company that makes lead screws on all axes. You wouldn't use lead screws, you would want ball screws. Lead screws in the XY are horrible because there's too much backlash, even with the anti-backlash nuts. You want to use ball screws if you're going that way, and that's Pantheon. Same with the SVO6. Yeah, the SVO6 is a sub $300 printer, so it's kind of expected that it's not going to be perfect. Which marble run? I don't know. Somebody linked it on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter. Just go on printables and search bamboo run or marble run. It might show up. Oh. Do MPU 6050 works? I don't know. I've only ever used the 80XLs. You could check the Clipper input shaper thing to see if it's compatible. Like Google might help you more than me right now. Rods and rails. Yeah, the big advantage with rails over rods and bearings. Technically, they both work pretty much just as good. The big difference is rods you can support mid-span. So when you have, or correction, rails. So when you have a rod, okay. Let me get some helpful. Yeah. Okay. So you got your rod, okay. You got your bearing. You can only support this on the ends, okay? You can only support, if anyone makes any gifts out of what I'm about to do, right to jail. So you got your rod here. You can only support it at the ends. You can't support it in the middle. So if you got 8mm rods on a 400mm motion system, as your tool head moves to the middle, it's going to droop, okay? And it's going to be more flexible. So if you do something like nozzle probing, which is the super cool fun thing that we do now, you're going to get different results in the middle than on the ends, okay? Because there's going to be more flex in the rod. Also, to mount stuff to the bearing, you have to envelop it. So the mount has to come around it and basically wrap the whole thing, and then it moves up and down the rod, okay? With rails, you can support them mid-span because you just mount them to whatever, and then for attaching to the carriage, you just screw to the carriage. So you can get a more compact setup. It's a little bit lighter than rods and bearings for the same size, and you can support it mid-span. Functionally, they're the same. It's ball bearing runs on a hardened metal rod or shaft. So in terms of performance, rods and bearings are the same as rails. They're the same thing, basically. The difference is the usability and how you can mount it and support it over different distances. So on a small printer like this, rods, the difference between rods and rails isn't much, but on bigger machines, it's a much bigger difference. That's why like the XL is rails, because rods on that side with nozzle probing doesn't make sense to do. So you can mount stuff easier to it, less bulky, which is lighter. You don't have to envelop it. It's just a different way of doing it. Okay, let's do this giveaway. So at smaller sizes, it's not so much an issue. It's as you go bigger, the advantage to rails gets better, okay? At smaller sizes, there isn't much of a difference. But as you get bigger, the advantage gets bigger to go with rails over rods. V-wheels are consumable. They get flats, they wear out, and you're at the mercy of an aluminum extrusion. And aluminum extrusions, especially the ones used in cheap V-wheel bed flinger printers, are not a precision thing. I did a video on how they come easily twisted, and that will throw off all your probing and all that stuff. So, Trent, thank you for becoming a member, and ET2K9 gifted a community membership. Cheers. Okay, so I need a number between 15 and 20. Somebody give me a number between 15 and 20. We're gonna do the giveaway now. 15 and 20. 18. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 18. Round and round she goes. Where she stops, the computer knows. The computer knows everything. We're doomed. Okay. The winner is Clint Johnson. So congratulations, Clint. You will get an email from me after the stream ends with information on how to get your filament from Polymaker. Congratulations. Everyone, golf claps in chat. Okay. So we're going to call it there because I am absolutely exhausted and I've completely lost my voice and I'm all drowsy and whatnot. Yay, being sick. So yeah, hopefully a video Sunday if I can get it filmed and edited tomorrow. This will be the last time you see a Mark IV on the stream or on this channel until I can buy a kit, because this is a loaner. So this is going back to Josh. So I got to put it back in the box. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the stream. Shout out to Polymaker for the spool of filament that we gave away. Check them out, link in the description and more. Affiliate links, they don't cost you anything extra, go a long way in supporting the channel. There's affiliate links for Prusa in there too if you want to buy a Mark IV or an XL or whatever, and help support the channel instead of, you know, the money just not going anywhere. For those that donate to the channel, gifted memberships to others, or became members of the channel yourself, I thank you. I would not be able to do the things I do, create the content I create without your continued support. You make it all possible. So yeah, it's Friday. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you tomorrow night for some V0 shenanigans. Gonna be soldering a bunch probably, if I'm feeling good. If I'm not feeling good, I'm not gonna stream. So enjoy your weekend. Bye. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. Bye.